So about that Metroid Prime 4 trailer, I have some thoughts. I want to talk about it. So the trailer doesn't really give us too much to hypothesize and guess about, but there are a few things that I wanted to bring up because some of it's really interesting. So the biggest thing, this is the Metroid Prime 3 ship. This is the Metroid Prime 3 Variasuit design. The arm cannon is where it gets interesting. We can see on the side and on the top of it, these little green lines here, there's only one. There's not four like in the other M suit. We can see it in the first person shot. This little hatch here, this little over thing, totally trivial detail, but that really only showed up in the other M arm cannon design, which I think is an interesting choice. I'm not sure what this is happening. And that leads me into one of the biggest things that I've been seeing people argue about on Twitter, which is where this game takes place. Now, if you ask me, I think that this game takes place in right after Federation Force. It has Sylux there. It has, big surprise. I hope you're not watching this before the trailer. Sylux is here after he showed up at the end of Federation Force, after he showed up at the end of Prime 3. I think there's no reason to think that this doesn't take place after Prime 3. But the part that everyone keeps jumping back to is two parts specifically. Right here, Cosmic Year 2000X9. Now, the X is a variable. If you're new to that, the X does not stand for any year. You could place any year in that. They're basically saying it takes place anywhere between 2009, doesn't take place then, or 2099. In Cosmic Year, that's probably different from our years. But anyway, point is, some people have pointed out the manual for Super Metroid takes place in like 20X7. We do have a bit of credence to that because of, here, let me pull this up. Someone mentioned it in my Discord. Right here. During the intro opening to Samus Returns, we see it does say 20X5. So this could mean anything. This could mean that this is either 6 years before Metroid 2 or 4 years after. It's complicated. They have cared about the timeline, at least the year in the cosmic calendar, as recently as Samus Returns, which still is like 10 years old. So did the production start for Prime 4 around then. So we'll have to see there. But the other thing is that in an interview with Tanabe back in 2015, he mentioned one of the ideas for it was basically the dimension hopping for Prime 2, but with time gimmicks. So you go back into a portal, go back in time, have some effects on the area, butterfly effects forward, and you're going to be using that to solve puzzles. This is from all the way back in 2015, and so far a lot of it has been accurate. They wanted to tell a story with Sylux, confirming that was Sylux at the end of Prime 3. We want to do a storyline with the Galactic Federation. The trailer does open on a assault on a Galactic Federation research facility, though that happens in like every Prime game to some capacity. All that kind of stuff. And then at the end of this trailer, we see what looks like Samus coming out of a portal there. At a glance, if you just colored this purple, that would look just like the Prime 2 portals. So I think that is what we're going to be doing here. That interview did mention that it would all take place on one planet. It's not like we're going to be going across the entire solar system, across multiple planets like in Prime 3 or Hunters. It'll probably just end up being one planet that, because of some plot MacGuffin earlier here in the trailer, we can see it being whisked away by Federation members. This thing, there's a better shot. I'll include it side by side. There's a better screenshot. Oh, hey, there's an E-Tank over there. That's cool. So whatever this thing is, you can see that it is purple. It looks an awful lot like the Prime 4 logo, this thing. Like, I'm pretty sure this thing that we're seeing in the background of the logo is this thing turned around, and maybe like the inside of it has the portal active. It's some kind of wormhole thing. So that I'm pretty sure I am on board with that being the thing. So what I think is, if this is after Super Metroid, like this thing predicts, then I'm pretty sure the story itself is going to begin after Prime 3, but we're going to be jumping around a lot. I hope they don't use this to retcon anything. It's just speculation on my part. I don't want them to turn this into its own branching timeline. I'd prefer them to keep it all contained, but we don't know. One thing that's pretty interesting to me, so we have markers here. We have enemy markers, we have ally markers right up here. We could see that there's the two Federation members. They're fighting these pirates over here. The pirate ship design, we see it for a moment. Right up there. That is the ship design from Prime 3. A long distance of time takes place between Prime 3 and Super Metroid. So, again, I think that if this game does take place, it's after Super Metroid at some point. It's starting off the story taking place before. This could be before a time skip. It could be a flashback sequence. I think that this is how the game is going to open, kind of like the assault on whatever that planet was at the beginning of Prime 3, back when Samus still has the Variasuit. Another thing, speaking of the Variasuit, this is very close to the Prime 3 design. You could see on the helmet later on in the trailer, right around here. It still has the same lines. I only know this because I had to draw it at one point. I remember focusing on it, studying it. This is just an updated Prime 3, Prime 2 Varia suit, which are both very similar. There's a lot of added lines you can see here. That's all kind of new. Maybe they're just more exaggerated. But, you know, like Prime 2 and Prime 3, I'm sure we'll be getting some more wacky suit designs later on in the game. So back to the gameplay. The other thing that I think is interesting is this little part here. Missile launcher looks like it's going to be toggleable in the same way as beams were at one point. Beams were in Prime 2 and Prime 1. What these could be, I have no idea. It'll probably be something entirely new, at least for the most part. I doubt we'll be toggling to super missiles because that's always been a beam combo, assuming that those are coming back, because they weren't in Prime 3. Prime 3 had hyper missiles or something, so we'll be having something toggleable. Could be power bombs. I doubt it. That wouldn't make sense. Could be grapple, maybe something. I don't know. Genuinely have no idea what that could be. While staying on the topic of the story, these space pirates are kind of interesting. Because their morphology, whatever, it's more purple this time. These are not the same race of pirates we saw in Prime 3. They have this very purple and green color design to it. We could see another shot of that. Oh, whoa, the beam cannon like twists a little bit. That's kind of cool. But we could kind of see that earlier as well around here. So they're really going, and we even see it with this orbital cannon thing we see right around here, blowing up this artillery. You know, they're very clearly going with this purple and green thing for the pirates. Obviously, this is meant to coincide the Silux design. This does look like a new species of space pirate, just purple. And, you know, we do see purple space pirates in Fusion, which, you know, could have just been from X mutation. Other M at one point was going to have those purple space pirates, Zabesians. We see it in one of the early trailers, but that didn't make it into the final game. So as far as I know, those purple pirates specifically from Fusion are still not canon. It could still be an original X design is what I mean. It's not like a one-for-one copy of a space pirate. But hey, maybe this changes that. Silux is in leagues with the pirates in some capacity. My initial reaction was that he is hiring the pirates to help him do an assault on the Federation. I doubt he's controlling them, though the Metroid Zero Mission manga did establish that the underlings do respond to strong psionic commands, kind of like a hive mind sort of thing. And it's the same thing with the Metroids, which is the interesting thing, because these are not Metroids, at least not that we know. These are actually Machtroids. They only have the single nuclei. We haven't seen them really since Super Metroid. We did see Machtroids in Prime Hunters, or at least the demo for it. So maybe that's fitting actually. You know, it's Silux. He is from Prime Hunters. I love the bone that's just connecting it. That's just cool. They have like these little teeth. Look at these little teeps. They have like so many teeth. But point is, either Super Metroid, we guessed, because I don't know if it was mentioned in the manual. If you look up on the wiki, it says that they're failed clones of Metroids. Maybe they're retconning that to be like these are deliberately toned down clones of Metroids to make them easier to control. Mother Brain was able to control the Metroids because of a psionic link that she has. And that's also how Mother Brain controlled the space pirates, which is told to us in the manga, which now Dread confirms is kind of canon, but you know, they're still taking some creative liberties with it. But that could also be, if that's the case, Silux could possibly be controlling the space pirates as well as these Machtroids. I did see this on Twitter. I thought this was interesting. I don't think that this is the case, but it could be. Someone pointed out that the scan picture here, they perceived this little orb here to be a Metroid nucleus. They thought that these pirates are Metroid hybrids, which, you know, we know that Metroid people hybrids are a thing now post-Fusion and in Dread. So, you know, maybe this is like early space pirate attempts to do the same thing. Pirate Metroid hybrids with like anthropomorphic beings was going to be a plot point in the original pitch for a Metroid Prime sequel, so that's not exactly outside of Retro's wheelhouse. It's totally possible. It was scrapped, but you know, a lot of scrapped ideas do eventually come back. So maybe it's possible. The space pirate designs remind anyone else of like Arbiter from Halo 2. I think it's just like the head and shoulder design. I don't know. Oh, hey, look, a dead Federation boy. Yeah, that's definitely a new design. Don't know what that floating red button is there for. That's definitely an updated design, very Prime-esque, very Prime 3, but very rounded. Doesn't look as bulky. This, I think, is interesting. The charge shot doesn't look that spectacular. Like, that's really tiny. I would want that to engulf more, but you can see her arm cannon turns to the side when she jumps. We're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here, folks. But that's cool. It makes combat feel more alive. Silex just looks amazing. I've been rooting for this guy's comeback since before Smash Ultimate, so it's great to see him. I think the whole time travel, whatever thing also ties into the beyond. Like, what are we going beyond? Other than, you know, Batman Beyond, we're going into the future. Oh, hey, maybe that's related. Wow, there's some like real Photoshop embossing on the edges here. That doesn't look great. I hope this isn't a final logo. But if it is, it's not a big deal. So it looks like the other games will still be locking on. Still be circle strafing. We see a side hop there. Of course, these are back, but you know, it's still good to see. This is the Metroid Prime 3, Prime 2 style missile launcher, so it looks like we will not be missile spamming like in Prime 1. Thankfully, we still have Prime 1 remastered for that. All right, that's all I got. I'm going to bed now.